Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is my novel, Life Choices. It was an ordinary day. The sun on the horizon. A beautiful city. You would not see its shades. A beautiful morning. The dawn of a new day. A new chance. The possibility to do good or to accomplish something. That's what people get up for every day, following a purpose. To be someone they aspire, or to accomplish goals in a society which puts values, material values above everything. How can you prove your success? How can you show the world that you are an accomplished person? Someone who does not leave things to chance. It is wealth, it is money. And on this beautiful dawn, on this beautiful day, working day, we do not see the shades. Those back doors, backyards, nook and crannies, where life lives on, where there is no such thing as weekends. There is no time off of life struggles. A day like everyone else. There is no difference between Mondays, Saturdays and Sundays. These people do not even wear clocks. What for? You only need to know dawn and dusk. Only care about where you sleep. You don't want to freeze or starve before going to bed. Days like this. And among these souls, and there are lost souls, outcasts, forgotten from the society, and through the grey mass in their filthy clothes, their dirty faces, they all look the same. Almost as if they would not have a personality anymore. Their misery resembles each other's. And among these lost souls is Frederick Mulham. He goes through the trash, trying to find something. He has been homeless for more than 20 years. It has become already a mechanism. Every day, every time, the same task. You go through the trash of others, the leftovers of a society which has gotten used to voluptuousness. And Frederick Mulham, in his 40s, his reddish hairs, his scrawny appearance, and his dirty clothes is something we would expect to be one of these lost souls. He doesn't know what he looks for. He doesn't know what he will get. Every day is a new challenge. Every day is a new surprise. What he might find in the trash bin. Every day he goes through it. And it was not always this way. Frederick Malham was once considered a genius, a smart child. He was the son of a poor mother whose husband had left her. He had 4 siblings, and all 4 of them more or less stupid, dumb. His mother didn't know what to do with her life. She did odd jobs. And when she figured out that she would not find a man, a suitor who could help her with her struggle, who could help her pay the bills, and help to meet the ends. She some sort of give out about of love, about life. She had many children from different husbands, from different men. Some of them she gave away. Only 5 of them she kept. One of it was Frederick. Frederick had a special place in her heart. She some sort of reminded him of this man whom she once met in a diner, fell in love with, and immediately had sexual intercourse with him. She never knew his real name, where he was about. Maybe he was only a traveler, only a passerby. She never met him again. But it was something in him which made her dream about the outside world, the things he talked about in his splendid suit. He was a salesman, unsuccessful though, but he came around. And for Miss Malheim, he was her dream, an escape route, something we need stored in our minds to think of better world, to give us purpose, any sense, something to get up every day. Mrs. Malham did not have any goal. Her days as a high school dropout was pretty much similar, odd jobs. There wouldn't be any escape from it. Every day the same. But this notion in her mind, this small chamber in her emotions, which she kept only to herself and locked. These were her sweet indulgences. She would indulge in when days would be unbearable. And in these imaginations, in these dreams, this stranger, the father of Frederick, played always a crucial role in it. This hero, Sometimes in her day dreams this was a hero who would save her. A hero with whom she would escape. A secret agent who would be there to help her for more, to protect her from danger, from a conspiracy, or what have you. She indulged in these daydreams, and they always ended sexually. But without children, without handcuffs, without stones she would be tied to, and which would drag her under the water. She felt free. She could forget about her momentary miserable life. And whenever she felt deeply engrossed in such a daydream and woke up thereafter in sweet pleasure, she became repentant because she felt an urge to abandon all her life, to abandon her children and just walk away. And she told herself many, many times, I cannot bear this anymore. This is beyond my understanding. This is beyond my comprehension. Life is unfair. This is what she said to herself. This is my life now, and I cannot change it. She thought about a lot of ways how she could make up for it. Just get out of here. Just somewhere. She even imagined her life, how it would have turned out if she would have had wealthy parents, if she would have had anything, any means at all. Education, even simple things. These are the very moments when we humans think about our life choices, about one occurrences, about one moment where we think everything went astray. And Miss Mannheim was the same. And she was so deeply indulged in these thoughts that she almost would have went through it. This was when Frederick was 2 years old. She had enough. It was a bad day in work. She didn't get any tips. She was a waitress. She didn't know how to pay the rent. And on those months, she could afford to pay the rent. She had to feed her children with leftovers from the diner. She even had to go through the trash for clothes to keep her children warm in the winter. But one of these days, this was before the Super Bowl and the diner was overrun by football enthusiasts. She was exhausted. She was beaten down. She could not hold her head up anymore. It was enough. Just so much could someone endure. That's it. And she went home, straight to home, determined to leave this miserable life behind. Her 5 children were at home. They always have been left at home. The eldest, Francis, would always keep would watch them. But most of the time the children would grow up without a mother, without an authority figure left by themselves. The world outside would not bother them. But on this very day, Miss Malham went home. She saw her children. They were expecting her. They were actually expecting the food she brought home. These children never really saw motherly affection, because her mother was out most of the day. These children only saw someone who brought them food and appreciated her for it. Miss Malheim gave them food. Little Frederick was overjoyed because he got a half-eaten muffin. But Mrs. Malheim was gloomy. She was not in the mood to cheer her up anymore. She did not feel the strength anymore. She went straight to her corner. It was a poor one-room apartment. Everything was crammed into it. The TV was running loud, almost deafening. It had to be because the windows and the walls of this apartment were so thin that you could hear the world outside, that you could hear tragedies, life tragedies, not one but many, what people worry about. Mrs. Malheim sat down. She watched her children. They hadn't seen life yet. They had food, and this is what they only cared about, the little ones. Only about candy. Life had not hit them. They lived pretty much in a different dimension. A dimension where life seems to be still rosy. Fun, joy, with all these possibilities. What young folks think about. Once I get older, this is how their dreams start. Once I get older, I will do this. I will go away. I will leave. I will do whatever I want. I will not be bogged down by any strains. I'm my own man. I'm my own woman. I'm free. I will be entirely different. I will start out new. These young folks, they are pretty much good analytics. They are well aware of what is going wrong in their environment. And they have dreams of their own, solutions for struggles, life struggles. And Miss Malheim watched them. And her face was overshadowed. Her eyes got darkened. She could not share the joy of her children, but she hated them. She hated them for what they are doing to her. She thought about her own dreams she had as a young girl, when she was the princess of someone, when she thought she could fly, she could go away, she could do whatever she wants. Those dreams, they never go out of style. They never cease to exist. And how many before her? How many people before her dreamed the same dream, gave in to the same illusions, and thought that they would never end up like this. But there she was, this woman, forgotten by society, and she hated her children, this brood. And she thought about it quite frankly, quite openly. How would have my life would have been if it weren't for these children? What would my goal be then? She had never lived for herself. She thought about it deeply. When was the last time I felt joy only for my sake? She more and more understood that up till now, she only experienced joy through her children. When they ate candy and were the luckiest children on earth, she was happy too, because she felt a relief. She felt a relief from this burden struggling parents have to feed their offspring. This ambiguity towards one's own child, for whom one provides, should provide, but on the other hand, slightly and surreptitiously hates, because one only lives for them and not for oneself. Her days are being consumed just to provide for these little ones. And Miss Malham had enough. After watching for a while gloomily at her children eating joyously leftovers, what well-off people could afford to throw away, she got up silently but determinedly packed her things. She recognized the bag she was holding. It was her bag from her youth. When she ran off, when she wanted to walk out into the world, this little bag, and it had survived all these years, as well as her desire to escape, to get out somewhere out there. And now this bag was filled again. The only few clothes she had left. She had been wearing the same clothes for a couple of years now. Some things she found in the trash. Others she could stitch together. She thought about her dreams as a young girl. She wanted to dress up fancily. She wanted to wear every day a new dress. She don't wanted to wear one piece of clothes more than once. She would do whatever she wants. But there she was, drained, exhausted, broken, and packing up her last things. She did not think much. She just wanted to get out. It would somehow work. This is the poor man's philosophy. It has to work. Somehow it has to work. I had bad luck so far, and God has to make up for it. It has to work. I have been struggling all along, and this is unfair. Other peoples are doing so good, but I don't. This can't be right. This can't be in God's will. God will have to make up for it. I'm a decent human being. I'm a nice person. I say my prayers. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? God has to make up for it. It has to work on. And this poor man's philosophy assumes that they would be in the future or in the near future, in a way or another, reimbursed for their struggles. God would give them a check, the bill. This is what these people think of justice. It has to come back, all my sweat. And this is what Miss Malheim thought. She did think less about her children. She thought of an ideal scenario, and this was a contradiction to the circumstances she was living. An ideal situation where her children would meet someone decent, maybe someone in the neighborhood, maybe a nice person in all this misery, and this person would take care of your children, would help her, so that she could, when she succeeds, when she finds luck, and God reimburses her for the struggle she went through, that she can sleep in peace and soundly, so that she don't have to worry about her children anymore. They can't be all bad. This world can't be all evil. Miss Malheim did not waste much thought on it. And her eldest boy, Francis, he was old enough. He was only 12, but some took him for 16, 17. I mean, this was the assumption of a half-blind person who was suffering from type 2 diabetes. But for Mrs. Malheim, it was sufficient enough. He will some sort of be able to care for his siblings. Francis is a good boy. He knows what to do. He knows how to take care of his siblings. Miss Malhelm wanted to relieve her conscience. She needed this. She needed a way out. And escape route. She needed something. Because her life was stuck. This is not how we are being brought up. This is not what we assume. Because no matter what it is, we learn that life would be a gradual progression. That you would end up somewhere. That you would go somewhere. Reach something you do not read about. And you, of course, read about failures. You read them, you study them, so that you do not fall in the same trap. But you do not read about a mundane life. You do not read about monotony. The same tasteless struggles. You do not hear about stories where every day is the same, where there's no change, where you some sort of became emotionally stumbled. You have nothing to hope for. These are the stories Miss Malhelm did not hear. Only that you would progress somewhere, come somewhere, arrive somewhere. But this somewhere did not come to Miss Malhelm. Everything left behind. And the dreams she had as a young girl, all were in vain, as it seems. She had to sacrifice her dreams, all those fancy dresses. She watched at the shop windows, all those fancy life scenarios she spun, where she would be somewhere, would be very important. Everyone would admire her, would praise her, appreciate her for her wits, for her beauty. She would be saved by secret agents. She would discover that she is related to the royal family in Great Britain. Whatever a young girl's mind spins, she lived those dreams. She lived through them. These dreams gave her power, meaning, understanding, strength to get up every day. And now, where is she now? All crumbled down. And what for? And all what's left was sacrifice. She did not know where this comes from. Why she, as a woman, has to be joyous that she has children. She did not understand the notion that you feel joy, life appreciation through your children. Maybe it was because she could not be long enough around her children. Those moments, they were only fleeting. She did not walk her children through all the stages of development. The first stage, when they need you, when they can't stand away from you, when they seem to be a part of you. The second stage, where you have to watch that your child gradually becomes dependent. At first, the break from you was painful, but then more and more, they stand on their own feet. They can walk alone. And you get scared. And with every step, they walk through the earth with every footprint they leave behind. You get scared about them. Because you have seen the worst. You have seen this hideous world. You have seen human atrocity. And there, a child seems to be not only out of the world, but you seem to have committed a crime indeed, that you have put such an innocent being into such a hideous and devious world. And this makes you thoughtful. And your third stage, your children do not need you anymore. They have grown independent. They even feel that you are suffocating them with your love, with your affection. And they take a distance from you. And you have to bear it. You have to make your peace with it. They live alone now. And then you see them grow up. But Miss Malheim did experience nothing of it. She only saw the joy her children had when she came home, because she was the only one who would provide them with food. The children did not refer to her as a mother, just someone who brings food. It could be as well as a delivery guy. And these children would have had the same affection for him or for her. It did not matter. Miss Malheim did not experience the affection that one has for his children. Miss Malheim didn't blossom in her role as mother. That's why she could easily think about walking away. She thought little about the choice she made, having so many children. She thought little about the fact that it was not a wise decision to have, as a single mother, so many children. But why did she have them? What for? And the reason was fear. Miss Malheim was afraid of being alone. She was afraid of coming home and having to sit in a silent apartment all by herself. Before getting Francis, before her first child, she had always thought that she would have someone to talk to. This would be a little boy or a little girl, and she would be her or his best friend, and they would share everything with each other. He would be, her child would be more than a dog or a cat. She did not like cats because cats are somehow too independent. She wanted an animal or something which was firstly highly dependent on her and which would listen, because Miss Malheim, to her constantly changing jobs as well as living conditions, she did not have any friends. She abandoned her family. She had no family. She had no one to talk to. And her children were supposed to be a supplement. She had dreams as well. To start a new family. A family for her own. Just her. Just she. And she would do everything right. She thought she understood what her parents did wrong. She thought she grasped. And she wanted to make a difference. And not be alone anymore in this world. Not struggle alone. And this was. But she could not be with her child, with her firstborn, long enough. She had to work. She had to separate herself from him in an early age. She could not see him growing up. And all these imaginations, all these thoughts that she could do better, that she could create a family of her own, start new through her life, despite the fact that it does not work well in her job, despite the fact that her job pretty early and soon became monotonous, mundane. You do not rise through the social ladder doing odd jobs. And she tried to find an escape in her family with these little folks who would admire her, to whom she would be the center. But this all changed. She could not be their center. She could not be their mother. And this left Miss Malhelm with a bitterness. Was it her fault? Or was it society? Was it her job? Her life struggles? Was it all together that she could not get things together? That she could not get things done? What was it? She was mad about it. She pondered over it quite a while. And right at the moment when she was about to walk out of the door, little Frederick approached her. He looked at her deeply, smiled, and asked her, "Mommy, are we playing a game?" And this broke her heart. Because this little fella, Frederick, looked as this stranger who had stolen her heart. She reminded herself of these great occurrences. And she felt bad. She felt bad that she would leave little Frederick behind. She dropped her suitcase, the bag she had been carrying along for so long, and she grabbed little Frederick and hugged him passionately.